Yo, 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 what it do? Welcome back, man. We had a big showdown today, man. Kansas City Chiefs versus the Dallas Cowboys, man, on Thanksgiving Day. Man, what a game, man. What a game. But before we get into this video, man, make sure y'all go ahead and subscribe to the Corner Suite Pod, on YouTube and Instagram. Your host, Steve Nelson, man. Man, we finna talk some football, man. It was a nice game. You know what I'm saying? But more or less, man, Kansas City Chiefs, my former team that drafted me, team that brought me in with open arms in the third round, 2015. I'm so disappointed in the Kansas City Chiefs, man. I'm so disappointed. This game on Thanksgiving versus Dallas Cowboys in Jerry World. Look, man, I'm lost for words. For multiple reasons. This was a must-win football game for both teams. I believe this was one of the most watched games in football this year. On Thanksgiving, everybody got their turkeys out, got their hams, macaroni cheese, collard greens, dressing, so everybody want to watch a good football game. But if you was a Kansas City fan, I know you feeling my pain right now. Shouts out to Mahomes for trying to fight back, trying to bring his team back, as best he can. He's down a lot of offensive linemen that are injured. The receiving core, I spoke about this before. Receiving core has not been the greatest. He does not have a really good supporting cast with him. You got Xavier Worthy out of Texas, one of the fastest guys in the NFL, if not the fastest. For some reason, him and Mahomes can't connect down the field. That's what they brought him in for. That was their unicorn. That's what they try to replace him with Tyreek Hill, and it's just not panning out. These are the type of games Xavier Worthy has to show his worth. Then you got Rasheed Rice looking like the best receiver on the team. He's doing what he could do. Shout out to Rasheed Rice, but he did drop a few passes and clutch passes in the moment. Travis Kelce, he's doing his thing now, getting better later in the season, being reliable. But Travis Kelce, man, you dropped a few clutch passes this year as well. Then you got Hollywood Brown. He's another fast speed guy. He's been around for a while. He got a touchdown tonight. But hey, everybody else. And then Kareem Hunt, shout out to Kareem. He's had a resurgence in his career. I played with Kareem and really happy for him, man. He really is very underrated. I don't know why, but they want to, for the longest time, I see the sports media calling for the Kansas City Chiefs to get a running back. And you got one right there. All you got to do is just run the ball. Kareem Hunt never disappoints. Might not be the fastest guy. He's a little older. But one thing I know about him, when you put him in on those tough yards, when you got to have it, he's going to make it, but he's going to make a way. So shout out to Kareem Hunt. Again, offensive line hasn't been the greatest. Got a couple guys out, But, yeah, man, I mean, this was a tough game for the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, Dallas Cowboys come out on top 31-28. Let's get into it. Dallas Cowboys, this was also a must-win for them. Shouts out to Dak Prescott, the Dallas Cowboys. That defense, since they acquired Quentin Williams and, I think they got Davion Clowney. He got a sack, older guy. The defense just looks like a different team. The different team this late in the season, which this is when guys really take off. November, December football. This is playoff mode football. And the Dallas Cowboys, man, I mean, they have been like pretty much at the end at the totem pole when it comes to NFC football teams for a while. Now, the fan base is crazy. You would think, every year the fan base for the Dallas Cowboys, you would swear they're going to win the Super Bowl. But that hasn't been the case. Dak Prescott threw for over 300 yards against the Kansas City Chiefs. He's always been dynamic during the season. His only issue is postseason. Dak Prescott can't get it done. He just beat two of the last Super Bowl teams beat Philadelphia Eagles, who won last season, won it all. Then he doubled back and beat the Kansas City Chiefs. That we got to start putting respect on Dak Prescott, man. Now we know the verdict is out. He hasn't really shown or proved himself in the postseason, but you just beat two Super Bowl teams in the previous season, back to back in 2 weeks. Hey, man, Dallas Cowboys now they coming. Pause, but they here. They showing y'all this is a new team. You know, a lot of people want to talk about, Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones lost a trade with Micah Parsons. Hey, Micah Parsons is a generational talent. But look at the Dallas Cowboys. They're playing a lot better football without him. Who won the trade? And Micah Parsons still doing his thing. They won today against the Detroit Lions. But who won the trade? I think it's, 50-50. I don't think nobody lost. Especially Dallas Cowboys. The way they're playing without Micah Parsons on the team, I mean, we can't overlook that. You get what I'm saying? Kansas City Chiefs, though, man. Let's go back to them, man. Let's go back to the Kansas City Chiefs. This is my frustration with the Kansas City Chiefs, the team that drafted me, the team that really helped me start to change my family dynamic. I can't just discredit them. And they won 3 Super Bowls under Mahomes era. So you can't knock them. You can't knock what Andy Reid has done. Hall of Fame coach, Travis Kelce and the cast, Hall of Fame talent. But where they lack at is the defense. Defensive side of football, man. I'm a defensive guy. I view myself as a real hardworking, defensive guy, physical mindset, no BSing around, practice hard, go out there and perform. I haven't seen that for the Kansas City Chiefs defense. I haven't this year, at least this year. And then a little bit last year. I was there. For those that you don't know, Kansas City Chiefs called me back out of retirement, gave your boy a call, Brett Veach. Hey, man, what about you in shape? Hey, I'm not. I retired. But you know what? I had a little hope that maybe I can make this thing a full circle situation. Let me get off the couch, fly out to Kansas City, boom, try to get me a ring. Even though I wasn't playing, but it's just, for me, morally, I've done everything that I needed to do. I retired on my own terms. My last season playing was 2023 with the Houston Texans. I finished the season with 4 regular season interceptions and 1 pick 6 in the playoffs versus the Cleveland Browns, the longest interception in Houston Texans history, playoff at least. And I retired. Money wasn't there. Whatever the case was, we're not gonna get into all of that. But I'm straight. I'm good. Family taken care of. Body feel healthy. Went out on my own. Boom. Fast forward. December comes around last season. I'm already retired. Raising children, fishing, hunting. See, I got the buck hat on. You get what I'm saying? Real outdoorsman. Kansas City Chiefs call. They on a nice little run. When I get there, I'm starting to see things a lot different from when I was there. Entire new defensive staff, Spagnuolo. Don't even really know all the other guys, as far as coaches, but Spagnuolo is the one that gets a lot of credit for being this mastermind, guru, defensive guru. I think he's an East Coast guy, very arrogant from my experience with him. I didn't really like him too much. We didn't have any issues, but, I'm just going to keep it 100% with y'all. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it 100. I'm gonna keep it a stack with y'all, man. Those people that know me, coaches, players, organizations, nobody could really say anything bad about my character. I don't have off the field issues. My entire 9-10 plus years in the NFL and college, no off the field issue. Real stand up type of individual. So I give myself my credit. It's very rare that I dislike a coach. Now, again, like I said, me and Spagnola had no issue. We had no issue. I just didn't like his approach, how he treated, me. I didn't like, when I got there. I mean, you guys got me off the couch. Why did Brett Veach call me? Everybody knows. Just look around. If you watch football, the Chiefs secondary has not been that great. They haven't been great. They got a lot of young guys. McDuffie is the best guy they have. Shouts out to McDuffie. He's not been having the best season that he's accustomed to having this year. Sometimes it's like that, but by far he's the best DB there on the team. So they get me off the couch. I come in, right? Now I'm out of shape, I'm not gonna lie. But it doesn't take me long to snap back into it. The playbook is not, I'm a veteran. I've started on every team I've been on. Starter. Never been benched. Never gave up over 100 yards. Never had any silly plays. Everybody gives up a catch here and there. Everybody gets beat. But, it's a lot of nuances when it comes to playing in the secondary. You got to have that mindset, be that dog. When I got to Kansas City in December last season, when we went to the Super Bowl and got obliterated by the Philadelphia Eagles, I saw some things that, to me, I would say you would not think that was a Super Bowl caliber team, at least on the defensive side. I can't speak on the offensive side of the ball. But on the defensive side of the ball, when I was in those rooms, I'm looking around, they have no veterans in the secondary. The veterans come from, they have some veterans on the defensive line. Chris Jones, obviously, he was there when I was there, a younger guy to me. Now he's the big dog. You got a couple other guys like fill-in players on the defensive line. And then you had, Nick Bolton, who's really good linebacker. They paid him. And then other than that, man, it's just a lot of young guys. They have a really young team. Now, those guys have been there for the last 3-4 years. They've won a couple of Super Bowls with them. But there's no veteran presence in the locker room, at least for the secondary side. So that's number one thing I noticed. All these guys pretty much came in together, and then these guys are like, McDuffie was only first round pick. That's a starter in the secondary. You don't even have third round picks, third round picks. I believe B. Cooks was maybe a second, third round pick, if I'm not mistaken, at the safety position, but that's it. The other corner, Jalen Watson, and we're going to get on you in a little bit. But, he was 6th, 7th round pick out of Washington State, Jalen Watson. And then you got Chamari, 27. I really liked him because he had that mentality. Like, he gets a bad rap because he gives up a lot of plays and coverage. But I think they're playing him out of position. I think he is a true safety. They put him in a lot of nickel situations for whatever reason. Maybe his mental capacity is there and they don't have a guy to play in certain packages. But they put him in a lot of compromising situations, and you could see that week in and week out, excuse me. So I just think that falls back on coaching, knowing your personnel. McDuffie is the best cover corner there. And like I said, hasn't had his best outing this season, but he's the best corner. With that being said, also, I know I'm rambling, but when I was there, I was told, okay, why would you bring me off the couch when I retired? Obviously, it was for a reason. It wasn't there for, moral support. What, just some free money? Y'all gave me some free money. Cool. I was very appreciative of it. It was fun coming back. But the reason why I feel like I didn't play was because of Spagnola. Spagnola has a lot of influence and power in that building. That's what I noticed the first week I was there. I started going to meetings, early morning meetings with him, trying to, figure out the philosophy and how they play things and terminology, this and that. And, you know, you're a veteran, man. Playbook is, you know, everything is pretty much similar. I've been on a few teams and everything it's like you compartmentalize different defenses with previous ones, if that makes sense. Only thing that's different is terminology, you know what I'm saying? And how the coaches want you to kind of view things. And you got to kind of know, you know, everybody got to be on the same page. So cool. Figured that out. I think honestly, I learned the defense just coming out the couch. I was mentally ready to play in like a week. Now it took me like 2 weeks to get in shape because shoot, I retired. What do you think people do when they retire? You know, I'm chilling. So anyway, get ready to play, thinking I'm supposed to play. They got this guy, Jalen Watson, who I'm very critical on. I'm not really critical on defensive guys in general, especially secondary. But this guy kind of had like this certain type of arrogance to him. And it was kind of disrespectful in a way because I'm a guy that's coming in and I only know how to do things one way. And that's practice hard, work out hard, take the meeting room serious. You know, obviously we're going to have a good time. We're going to laugh and have that team camaraderie. But when it's time to put them pads on and step on the field between the lines, man, you know, you got to have a certain type of mentality. I never sensed that from him. McDuffie has it. McDuffie reminded me a lot of my younger self. You know, he's very quiet. Now, I wasn't quiet, but the way he goes about his preparation during the week, I love the way he goes about it. You don't see a lot of young players practice with that old school mentality where nobody's catching the ball. That's how you're supposed to practice. When you have good practices, it translates to the football, to the real games. The games are easy. There's multiple older retired NFL vets that have told you guys multiple times that good preparation carries over, and practices. I'm pretty sure a lot of guys always say, man, the practices were harder than the game. That's absolutely true. The scout team players, receivers, they're some of the best athletes that I've went against, better than some starters, believe it or not. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are guys that if you're in the NFL for one, that means you were at some point the best guy on your team, wherever you was at, usually. So these guys are no slaps. They just, whatever it was, small school, had off the field issues, didn't test well, whatever the case was, they got the short end of the stick. But when those scout team or guys are practicing against the ones, they're going to give you, that is their football game. That is their resume. They're trying to stay on the team. Because I've seen scout team guys cut all the time for not producing. They log everything. They you know what I'm saying? So I'm watching this guy, Jalen Watson. He was coming off an injury. So I'm like, okay, I'm getting ready to play, thinking I'm about to play. That wasn't the case. They waited for this guy. They put in number 13 and number 2. Chiefs fans know who they are. I'm not going to say their names. And then there's no knock against them. But these are primarily special team guys. To me, that was kind of odd. You got me coming off 5-pick season, a solidified starter, and I'm looking around like, well, why the hell y'all bring me into the building in the first place? If y'all gonna play guys that wouldn't even be starters, wouldn't even be thought about on other teams. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all see how the Houston Texans defense is playing? That's what I was a part of. There's no the Chiefs secondary has nobody even close to the way Derek Stingley is, and I raised him. That's my boy. He's doing a hell of a job. That's what an all-pro cornerback is supposed to look like. Now they got Kamari Lassiter, so it's great coaching over there. You don't see that with the Kansas City Chiefs. Going back to Jalen Watson, anyway, when he comes back, man, this guy's getting torched in practice. Torched by scout team players, doing like just having the worst brain farts you can't even fathom it. like training camp stuff, day one stuff, rookie stuff. This guy came losing leverage on the cracker plays, running back, scout team running backs getting 20, 30 yards up the sideline on them. You know what I'm saying? Not tagging off, not finishing plays. Scout team guy catch a ball on him. Guy puts his head down, moping and stuff. Like all that kind of stuff irks me. And this is y'all's guy starter. This is who Spagnuolo wanted to play. Well, why bring Steve Nelson in? I was cool on the couch. You know what I'm saying? For what? I'm watching all this stuff go down. I'm like, and then I'm looking, you know, I pay attention to certain things. I'm like, who is this Jalen Watson guy? Like, why the hell they keep wanting this guy to play? Like, don't y'all want to win? I came off the couch. I thought I was gonna help y'all win. I ain't come off the couch just to get a few dollars. I was straight. Remember, I retired. So now I'm looking at social media. Let me do a little research on this dude, Jalen Watson. They talking about him. Oh, he about to be designated back to play like he Darrelle Revis. Like that. I mean, not literally, but just like the excitement. I'm like, what has this dude done? Well, I like, it's a big difference. This is what I want y'all to understand. There's a big difference between individual success and team success. Individual success is you standing on your own 10 for you. I never won a Super Bowl, so I can't take that away from guys that won it. I tried to win it, even though I wasn't playing. I was hoping that we won. It didn't work out, but I got a championship, and I'm grateful. You know what I'm saying? Like that's, you know, I got it. But you got guys like Jalen Watson, and then it wasn't about that they were just so, I guess, loyal to a guy like that. And I get it, you know, so don't take this out of context, but I get it. You know, a guy he's been there. He won, I believe, 2 Super Bowls with the Chiefs. You want to rock out with your guys. Cool, Spags. But when I'm watching, and I got the same eyes everybody else got, when I'm seeing the guy get beat to smithereens routinely in practice, like, is that, like, what happened to a healthy competition? Okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? My issue with Jalen Watson, I remember one day, dude was getting beat. Like, this is the week of the Super Bowl in New Orleans. The week of the Super Bowl, dude had a terrible week of practice. And, you know, it is what it is. I'm going to say how I felt. I'm going to say the truth. This is the truth. You know, I'm watching dude having a terrible week of practice. It's a Super Bowl week. You know, at that point, it should be, you know, everybody should be moving on one accord like a well-oiled machine. These same practice habits from the regular season carried over to the Super Bowl, the playoffs. They still playing this guy. This is Spags' guy, right? It got so bad on a Friday, the week before the Super Bowl. I mean, couple of days, the last, you know, Friday, Fast Friday, right before the Super Bowl. This is the last practice. Dude has his worst practice I've ever seen. I couldn't fathom it. Like, shocking that we had to have a group talk about it. Literally. So I went on and told the guy, like, hey, man, you need to lock in, bro, because I might not have been playing. But for me, selfishly, like, shoot, I started this thing. Like, I was here before all of y'all got here. I was here with the OGs, Alex Smith and them. You know what I'm saying? I was there when Mahomes first hit the scenes. Travis Kelce and all those guys. Chris Jones first got there. I was there with Eric Berry, Marcus Peters, who came in the same draft, Ryan Parker, Tyvon Branch, Abdullah. The list goes on with Bob Sutton, Al Harris, Emmett Thomas. You know, I was there before that. So of course I wanted to get in there and ride off in the sunset with a championship ring, Super Bowl ring. So I told this guy on some big bro stuff, thinking I can, you know, try to give him a little, insight or give him a little bit of encouragement, because I see him every time he give up a catch in practice, hanging his head down, moping, not finishing plays. Like, where they do that at? You wouldn't start anywhere on no other football team with that type of mannerisms, that type of practice habits. At least not in the league I was in. It's a different league. I don't know. When guy turns around and tells me, hey, bro, you never been here before. Huh? The little dude told me I ain't never been there before. And it's that type of arrogance, you know what I'm saying? So I start talking to him. You know what I'm saying? You right, you got me. I ain't never been to the Super Bowl. But one thing I do know is you ain't talking about nothing. You're terrible. You wouldn't start on any other football team. At least that I was on. Like, you're a 7th-round pick. So, all right, fast forward. Super Bowl get there. Oh, it's no shit, no surprise. You're getting bombed up. It's free pickings. It's free. You get a pass, you get a catch. Throw the ball at 35. Bombing them up left and right. Then you come to the sideline, slam your helmet. Oh my God. Oh, I want some sympathy. I'm looking at him like y'all young dudes got the game twisted. Can't tell them nothing these days. You know what I mean? So with that being said, I know I went on the rant about 35 and my frustrations with the Kansas City defense, but we gotta put this on Spagnuolo. You know, because this is the same team from 2 years ago. They only have success defensively based on one player, and that's Chris Jones. Man, he hasn't been himself. People calling him lazy, you know, taking his foot off the gas, in and out of gaps. If Chris Jones is not doing what he needs to do, if he's not swim moving, you know what I'm saying, guards and tackles and ending up in people's backfield, the Kansas City Chiefs are no good on defense. That's just what it is. They got other good players. And then you see what happened tonight. Let's look. Dak Prescott throws for 320 yards, 2 TDs. Right? CeeDee Lamb, 7 receptions for 112 yards, 1 TD. George Pickens, 6 receptions, 88 yards. Somebody got to guard. Who guarded him? There was a time in this game I felt like they should have pulled 35 out the game. He was getting obliterated. Looked like he wanted to cry. DPIs, giving up the same play. They playing 2-man. You don't give up the inside leverage in 2-man. But that's Spags' guy. And then I heard on the teleprompter the other day when they played, they beat the Indianapolis Colts, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe the week before that, I don't know. Tony Romo steps on the ledge and says 35 is a Pro Bowler. What? Okay, so this is how I know everything is rigged. Everything is bought. Pro Bowl is popularity. These guys it's not what it really is supposed to be. It's supposed to be about production. So let's look at Jalen Watson this year. Tony Romo called him a Pro Bowler. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 games? Oh, he got an interception today. True. 2 interceptions. Let's see how many PBUs he got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6. 6 pass deflections. 2 interceptions in 12 games. That's a Pro Bowler. Let's go to career. Let's go to career. Jalen Watson came to NFL 2022. He got 49 starts. So it's mean he played. No. I'll take that back. Played in 49 games. In 2022, got started 6 games. In 2023, he started 2 games. 2024 started 6 games. This year he started 11 or 12 because they just played the Dallas Cowboys. So you got 26 starts in 4 years. That's a Pro Bowler to y'all. That's y'all putting out there. A guy that has seasons with double six. Twice he's only started 6 games, and once he started 2 games. That's who Spags rolling out there. Jalen Watson. Let's see for career. He's got 3 interceptions in 4 years. They still riding off that 1 interception his rookie year, which was some fluke stuff, a bad pass against the Chargers, had 99-yard pick 6. I mean, what are we talking about? 23 pass deflections in 4 years. It's no comparison. You got team success, my boy, but individually, not fucking with me. A lot of people not. I might not have been to the Pro Bowl, but we all know what that is about, popularity. But I definitely can hold my own and speak on certain topics. If you trash, you trash. No, don't tell me about no team success and all that. It's a political movement going on with the Kansas City Chiefs, and that is going to be their demise. The Kansas City Chiefs did not upgrade their secondary room. Mahomes does not have the supporting cast he needs to consistently go out there and put up 30 plus points like he used to. The defense can't save you no more when you got guys like Jalen Watson. Chris Jones not really doing his job like he supposed to. Y'all not getting no turnovers. I came from the Houston Texans. Are y'all crazy? We had some of the most interception turnovers in the league. But you're gonna put that on the field, Spags. But enough about that, man. Kansas City Chiefs dynasty is over. It is what it is, man. I'm just letting y'all know the glaring hole as to why. If Kansas City had an opportunity to win this football game, all the defense had to do was stop them in that last drive. But no, you know who they was targeting the last drive? Jalen Watson. Come on, man. Easy money, man. Y'all go ahead and make sure y'all like, share, subscribe to this video. Appreciate y'all tapping in. Your host, Steve Nelson. Peace.